Hey, what's up? Just working on my little backdrop here, my bookshelf. I'm getting pretty into the idea that this is going to be, something that you guys see all the time, so I wanted it to be nice. But anyway, I really wanted to talk to you today about a headphone review. I haven't really done any technical stuff as of yet. However, I do have experience in the IT field, as it's been pretty much the last 10 years of my life. But now I'm going to be looking more at the consumer side of things, and to start that off, why not a good headphone review? So today we're looking at the Marshall MOTIF 2 ANCs and the Apple AirPod Pros. Now, I personally have used the Pros and the OG AirPods, which I lost one of these at a tournament, and which prompted me to get these headphones here. Let's go ahead and take a little closer look at this so you can see what I mean. So here are both of the headphones. These are the AirPods that I've used for the better part of the last couple of years. Obviously, you're familiar with this. You have the right earbud here, the left earbud here. Take it out, right? All of that. We have the pairing button in the back, and the port is Lightning. So that's important to note, because that's actually one reason why I got this here. Now, whenever I went from the iPhone, I don't remember which version, but to this iPhone 15, you'll notice that this is now a USB-C port. So the reason why that's important is because I had a pretty first world issue with having to carry multiple connections, with this being USB-C and this being Lightning, right? Pretty silly, but it was a reason alone for me to want to upgrade. These two headphones are rather comparable. With that being said, let's go ahead and give it a start. So with the familiar AirPods, AirPod Pros are going to be anywhere from, I've seen Walmart have the second gen on sale right now for $189, but these really can vary on the market. You can get a pair, they're relatively available, which is one thing to notate on these. Now, the AirPod Pros 2, they actually have a USB-C port, while this is a Lightning. So if that matters to you, obviously that's gonna play into your decision on whatever headphones you're gonna get. Now, that brings me to a couple of things. Now, I'm gonna point out some really positive aspects about these headphones, but I do want to show you a couple of reasons why I don't think they're just so perfect, right? Starting off, this is a native product to Apple. When you pair a pair, that's silly. When you synchronize a pair of headphones with an iPhone, you notice that the difference in the experience with the UI is that your phone will typically recognize these even before you start going to the settings, into Bluetooth and whatnot. However, when it comes to the Marshalls, you have to go into your settings and pick them as a separate Bluetooth device. Now, that may not be a big deal. However, it is a convenience thing with this being a native product. That's just something to notate. Another thing is that these are really well tested and established at this point. Every pretty much thing that you can see here has been, really well thought of and, designed in a way that it's very satisfying. You can see that there's really no gaps, no issues with quality control in these things. It's consistent every time. You can guarantee that. There are really good controls when it comes to putting these into your ears. You know that I'm going to be able to touch only this bottom part here to activate whether or not I want to start or stop music, or if I want to talk to Siri, or engage noise canceling or not. So that's just one thing to notate. I will say that after talking about this with my wife, one of the things that these lack is overall comfort. Now, I know designer stuff is not really suited towards everybody's bodies, but it almost seems like these have just like this rounded out part here on the Pros and the Pro 2s, which can kind of just make your ear sore, with a lack of better way to explain that. So that's just one thing, is that while that may not bother everybody, it does have the ability to bother a lot of people. I do have a couple of gripes, right? These are very established, right? Which unfortunately what happens with that is there's a big market that tries to copy those things. So for an example, you can find copycats of these, which I've actually heard some of these are really good, but sometimes you'll be expecting to get an Apple AirPods Pro and you get a knockoff, and that's just something that happens. So let's talk about a couple of my gripes, right? Other than the comfort, the charger case contact points have given me some issues. Now what I mean by that is that deep in the case here, you can see that there's little pieces of like copper or metal, right? I'm not sure why, but I'll put my headphones in the case just like how they're supposed to go, and sometimes this one won't make contact, and I have to do this weird thing where I kind of wiggle it around, so it's almost like it's rubbing the contact point a little bit more, which makes it charge. But I don't know if that's just mine, if I'm not taking care of them or whatever, but I feel like I've delinted this enough to not have that issue. But with that being said, overall it's an established product. I like them. And these I still have basically in my rotation as my beaters at this point. Whenever I go work out, I'm typically going to wear these because I've sweated so much on them already. But overall, not a whole lot to complain about these, but let's look at the Marshalls now. Okay, so here we have the Marshall headphones that I bought to upgrade my listening and my audio experience whenever I upgraded my iPhone. You'll notice right away that these things are beautiful. Like they're very much appealing. When I open this, it's got a nice presentation with the Marshall M here. And I'll just show you kind of what these look like. So you can see right off the bat that these things are very attractive. They have some gold accents. They have the gold contact points that kind of coincide with the color scheme. It's not really, that important, but when you're looking at the difference right away between these two headphones, then the resemblance is obviously the shape, but these things don't really go along in the same fashion in every way. One thing I'd like to notate when we're talking about the comfort issues with the AirPods, it seems like these headphones have a way better surface to go against your ear, that you can see that this is basically flat right here. It seems to not push into your ear as much. It seems like it's a lot more comfortable to me. That may just be my ear shape, but that's something to notate there. These Marshall headphones will typically run you between $190 to $200, while the AirPod Pro 2s can go as much as $250. It's obviously an appealing package here. You've got this faux leather, but this is typical for Marshall. If you've ever seen their guitar amplifiers and speakers, this is something that you'll notice that is very common on all of these. It's more durable than the Apple case, I'll say that. It's a little bit more grippy, so you're not going to drop it out of your hand typically because it is textured. But let's just talk about Marshall for a second. So when you see Marshall, typically you're gonna think of music and loud and amplifiers, stuff like that, because that is their heritage. And I really like that they went basically head to head with Apple on this to try to beat them at their own game essentially. Now, while I do have a couple of gripes about this, I think these are great headphones. Let's just say that. I've kept them. I've not wanted to resell them, so that's important to know. While they are very appealing, when I first got these headphones, I felt like the case opened and closed kind of weird. And what I mean by that is it's plasticky, right? Until it got to the point where now it feels normal and comparable to the Apple one. As you can see, it's very similar to that, right? I felt like originally I was not sure how to feel about the case hinge, because it almost felt like kind of sticky, really, and it wouldn't go with a nice little, I don't know, closing sound. Let's just say that. So with that being said, another pro, obviously, with this having the heritage that it does with amplifiers, you're going to get a really good sound quality. Now, as far as the numbers go, I'm not sure exactly which one is superior or over the other. However, my own experience, I play music, I feel like I can hear a difference between these and the AirPods. That's important to note. It sounds good. Let's just say that. The active noise canceling, all right, this is where I'm going to start complaining about these. These headphones, they're well thought out as far as sound, design, but design as far as aesthetic goes only. And I'll start complaining because when you put these in your ear, it's almost like they expect you to hold them like this. The reason why I'm saying that is because this M is the activation point to start and to stop music, to activate the noise canceling, and also to disable it. The problem is that whenever your headphone is falling out of your ear, you have to push it here, which is either going to change the noise canceling that's already enabled, or it's going to start or stop your music, which can be irritating to say the least. While that is being my biggest gripe about these, it's something super fixable. Honestly, if they had a third version and just put the contact point here or something, that would make so much more sense to me and would really just fix that annoyance. I mean, it really just is an annoyance to me. If I can get over that, I guess anybody could too, but I'm just kind of particular. And the last thing I really want to talk about, as far as it's just a difference. It's not even that it's bad or anything, but you can see that the AirPods, the earbuds go on the inside, and on the Marshalls, it's almost like they did it deliberately opposite, where the earbuds go on the outside. So the problem is, I'm coming from the experience of the AirPods where, obviously it's different, and it causes me that just slight delay in putting them back in the case. Obviously, it's not a big deal at all, but let me just say, I've got both of these still in my rotation. I keep the Marshalls for the nice, if I'm going to be traveling, or if I'm going to be, listening to music, or really anything outside of working out with music, I'm going to go with the Marshalls. Now, if I'm going to be working out, getting sweaty and gross, I've already kind of beat up these AirPods enough, so that's where my decision would go to take those. Okay guys, so basically what this really comes down to is your personal preference on if you want something that's kind of tried and true, or if you're willing to go a little bit outside of your comfort zone to get something that's maybe not so heard of. Now, you could also see it as, if you're looking for something that's mostly going to be available at your tech shop, you're going to go with the AirPods. However, if you're looking for sound quality and maybe you need to take a little bit of a risk, you're going to go with the Marshalls. Now, I am a Marshall fan, as you can tell. I've got one of their portable speakers that sounds amazing. It's got all of the stuff that's very reminiscent of Marshall amplifiers, which I had a long time ago, so this does have kind of a soft spot for me. So with that being said, I do really like these Marshall MOTIF 2 ANCs. These are a great set of headphones. They feel awesome in your ears, and it seems like they are relatively comparable. So when you look at the differences between these two headphones, you're looking at the aesthetics. Do you like white? Do you like black? Do you like textured? Do you like smooth? With that being said, style, availability, I don't know. Quality of sound, availability, I don't know. I think personally, if you're going to go with something that needs to have a USB-C port, go with the Marshalls. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So let me know what you think, if you have any experience with these, or if you have any big gripes about the AirPods, and we'll start a discussion. Bye.